Tonight, a reputation rebuild. One-on-one with the new CEO of the Thames Valley District School Board. Plus, real storm, fake images.
If they see something like that and issue a tornado warning based on a false image of a tornado, that's a big problem.
AI concerns when extreme weather strikes. And only rubble remains.
My wife called and said we had to evacuate the area because of the toxic smoke from the fire.
Cleaning up the aftermath from a massive fire in Grand Bend.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Storm researchers at Western University are warning about the prevalence of AI images in the aftermath of last week's extreme weather. They've confirmed a second tornado touched down in the London area. But as Jerry Dewan reports, what was posted online doesn't necessarily match reality.
Northern Tornadoes Project researchers continue to investigate the May 19th storms that moved through the London region. But project director Dave Sills has concerns about images of tornadoes that didn't happen.
We had 4 different images of tornadoes circulating during the event and after the event, and it just causes all kinds of problems.
Sills worries those posting the images don't fully appreciate the complications they're creating.
For Environment Canada, who's trying to issue tornado warnings in real time, if they see something like that and issue a tornado warning based on a false image of a tornado, that's a big problem.
Sills says we experienced a bow echo storm that generated 2 tornadoes and a downburst. The first significant event was an F0 tornado that touched down near Melbourne around 5:30 in the afternoon. It tracked west for about 8 kilometers, snapping off and uprooting trees, and did some damage to a farm structure. There were no reported injuries from that event. Sills captured this image of the tornado that carried estimated wind speeds of 115 kilometers an hour.
After that, actually 2 simultaneous events. One was a 26 kilometer long track of a tornado that was rated EF1. And at the same time that was happening, there was an EF1 downburst going across East London into the Dorchester area.
But AI images showed larger tornadoes in the city.
We found out where they were taken and what direction they were facing. And it was clear that there was no damage where they were looking, so there was no tornado there, right? The radar showed no rotation. It just wasn't happening.
Sills says he has concerns for those who suffer extreme anxiety during storm events. The NTP works with a social scientist who studies those impacts.
It's clear that some people have something approaching PTSD after these events. Like every time there's a storm afterwards, their anxiety goes through the roof.
Sills says if AI fakes continue to cause problems, it may require a stronger response.
It's basically the equivalent of yelling bomb in an airport, right? You can't do this.
We reached out to London police, who issued a statement saying creating or sharing false information during emergencies, including AI-generated images, can contribute to confusion, impact public trust, and potentially divert emergency resources. While each situation is unique, there may be circumstances where these types of actions could be subject to review under existing criminal laws. At the very least, Sills is hoping those online will be cautious before sharing images that may be fakes. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. After a wild weather week last week, we are in for a treat this week. We have sunshine in the forecast and very minimal rainfall. High pressure is in play as we sit under sunshine and our temperatures climbing to the mid-20s this week. I'll break down the full forecast for you a little later in the show. Carlyle?
Thank you, Rita. An uncertain future tonight for dozens of previously homeless Londoners after the provincial government decided against funding the House of Hope operating on Dundas Street. With more on the reaction to its pending closure, here's Daryl Newcomb.
House of Hope on Dundas Street will be forced to close this November after the provincial government decided not to fund the 48 supportive housing units.
We have met with everyone we could possibly meet with provincially, and sadly they've chosen not to continue funding.
London Cares had been seeking $1.37 million. 45 residents and 24 employees will be impacted by the pending closure to a location that provided wraparound supports to people who had previously been homeless.
These are people with trimorbidities, so physical health issues, mental health issues, and addiction issues. And through the time with us, they've been able to work on all of those pieces because we've wrapped all the care around them. Back
in February, London Cares revealed the impact House of Hope has made since opening in October 2023. After just a year and a half, a 97% drop in emergency department visits by its residents, as well as 84% fewer interactions with police.
So this is an exceptionally disappointing decision because what we know about House of Hope is that it works. It's helped people, it's producing great numbers, it's getting great value for money.
Jaw to the floor, because that just means that more people are going to be out on the street. We see decisions like this come again and again.
The terms of the lease require London Cares to give 6 months' notice, hence the announcement now for a November closure. It also provides time to connect the residents with potentially other places to live. Councillor Ferreira wonders if last week's court ruling prohibiting the eviction of a homeless encampment in Kitchener because the residents have no other place to go might also be applied to House of Hope.
I'm no legal expert, but I do think that there's a direct applicability here when it comes to that Ontario Superior Court ruling.
A spokesperson for Ontario's Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Rob Flack, writes in a statement, quote, "This year we are investing over $21.8 million in the City of London through the Homelessness Prevention Program, an increase of 63% since 2022. Specific allocations of the provincial funding, such as the Homelessness Prevention Program, are made by the municipality, not the province, to ensure local needs are addressed."
We're continuing to create as many spaces as we possibly can in the city, and this is a really unfortunate step back.
We started this program because there was a gap. Closing this program would bring the gap back.
Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
600 OPSU workers with Community Living London went on strike today, which means the group homes and programs they support are now understaffed. The workers staged a picket line outside Community Living London demanding higher wages and retroactive pay. They say their target is not their employer but the provincial government. Union leaders say the money provided to Community Living London is not enough to afford pay raises similar to workers in other care sectors.
But it's not just about our wages and it's not just about our jobs. It's about the people that we support. They've been removed from their house, and some of the group homes, if they had 4 people living there, now today they have 6, 7, or 8 people living there. The people don't understand what's happening.
Local education workers and labor leaders rallied this weekend calling on the provincial government to increase school funding, addressing a situation they describe as a crisis.
The people, united, will never be defeated.
So I would say burnout and violence would be our top 2. There is not enough of us. There's not funding for enough of us to support the needs that students require from us on a daily basis. So when students don't get what they need, they become dysregulated, we become injured, violence happens, and then, you know, we end up being victims of the circumstance of that classic circle of underfunding versus student need versus violence, that we need to break that cycle.
Education's under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
At least probably 3 or 4 staff per school would help bring numbers up. But part of it also is replacements when staff are sick. We don't have enough casuals to replace our staff when they're sick, so people are then short and students aren't getting the support. I've had a table thrown at me, the big conference tables thrown across the room at me from a student. My members are getting hurt. We have members who go to work in Kevlar because they are trying to protect themselves.
Solidarity.
We are drowning in workloads. We are drowning without staff. We need the funds to go back into the school. And we're trying to call out the government to properly use the money that's allocated for public sector to actually go into the public sector.
The newly appointed CEO of the Thames Valley District School Board says rebuilding public confidence is necessary while it remains under provincial supervision in light of an unstable financial situation. That included a 2024 trip to Toronto, which was highly criticized for its cost. Brian Bicknell has more on the challenges that still lie ahead.
Were you on that trip? Yes, I was on that trip. It was where our expectation for where we were to be for work at that time.
Kevin Auckland admits he was one of 18 Thames Valley District School Board administrators to attend a 3-day trip to Toronto, complete with Blue Jays games in 2024. The $40,000 retreat became public as the board faced a multi-million-dollar deficit. It led in part to the resignation of then Director of Education Mark Fisher and the school board being placed under provincial supervision.
Well, my leadership style is to lead with integrity and openness, and I will continue to do that. I know that as a board we need to rebuild public confidence, and I am committed to ensuring that that's what we do.
Auckland was announced last week as the Thames Valley Board's new chief executive officer. Hired from within, Auckland has worked in education for 27 years, all with the Thames Valley Board. He takes over for Director of Education Bill Tucker, who came out of retirement to steer the board through financial fallout.
That trip was clearly inappropriate and led to a lot of changes. Kevin will have to answer those questions himself about how he rationalizes all of that.
OSSTF District 11 Thames Valley President John Bernan says Auckland has significant challenges ahead.
Kevin has an excellent reputation as an educator in Thames Valley, was educated within Thames Valley, but he still has to deal with a significant deficit that I don't believe the supervisor has been able to deal with.
In a statement to CTV News, education analyst Debbie Kasman says Auckland will have to work closely with board supervisor Paul Bonifaro in steering the board towards strong fiscal management and earning back community trust. This will be challenging considering the board's current debt, the PD session at the Blue Jays Hotel in Toronto that most or all of senior admin attended, as well as declining student enrollment. The CEO appointment follows the Ministry of Education's removal of trustees from the school board.
They never went to the Rogers Centre, and yet they've been swept aside. Now this person who was at the Rogers Centre has been promoted and rewarded for being there. It doesn't make any sense from a good governance point of view.
The new CEO position replaces the Director of Education role. CEOs will be responsible for financial and operational matters and budget development. It is one of 2 new oversight positions created by the provincial government. The second oversight role of Chief Education Officer focuses on student achievement. Meantime, Auckland assumes his new position July 1st. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
London police have issued a public warning after a woman was attacked by a pair of loose dogs in the East End. They say the woman suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries in a wooded area just north of Gladstone Avenue. According to police, there were 3 dogs on the loose, one of which has been caught by animal control. They're described as medium-sized Rottweilers, brown and black in color. The provincial government is going to court attempting to prevent the release of documents related to the blue license plate program, which has since been scrapped. Government lawyers have applied for a judicial review of decisions by Ontario's Information and Privacy Commissioner, ordering the province to release documents in response to a Freedom of Information request by the Canadian press. The blue license plates were rolled out in early 2020, but the province stopped issuing them shortly after because of visibility issues. Government officials have provided no plan to get those plates that were issued off the road. A Bruce County family are remembering their daughter 1 year after she was killed in a car crash alongside 3 teammates and their coach. With more on Rowan McLeod's lasting impact, here's Scott Miller.
Whether it was dancing in the rain or hamming it up with her teammates, Rowan McLeod brought energy and joy to every room, arena, or sports field she entered.
Ro was a bundle of energy. She had our house was louder when she was in it. She was just a lot of fun, goofy. She always had her tongue out and bugging people or hugging people.
She had a pretty infectious smile and she could make anybody laugh with her too.
The 17-year-old McLeod was one of 4 Walkerton District Community School student athletes killed alongside their coach and teacher last May. They were all in the same vehicle that collided with a transport truck as they returned from a school softball tournament. This past Saturday marked the 1-year anniversary of the tragedy. McLeod, who grew up near Chesley, was very involved in her community, working as a summer camp leader in Walkerton while playing a multitude of sports: hockey, softball, rugby, and likely her favorite, broomball.
One of the things we realized about Ro is that she impacted everybody she came in contact with in ways we didn't even know. So people would tell us stories after, the way she would make them feel. People that she was friends with 5 or 6 years ago, they still loved and missed her.
In her memory, her family has started the Rowan McLeod Memorial Fund. Her parents say Rowan was an aspiring teacher, so they have focused their memorial donations toward local schools and youth sports teams.
We just really wanted her foundation or fund to be used for anything, like anything that was for kids or made kids feel included or
would make her happy.
Would make her happy and proud of us.
McLeod's family is also planning to install a commemorative bench at Centennial Park in Walkerton to honor Rowan, a hot pink bench if possible, Rowan's favorite color. If nothing else, the McLeods want people to honor their daughter by simply being kind to each other.
Tell kids when they do good things and not just point out when kids are doing bad things, or tell people that you love them and how much you like them and what they're doing really well. Because like any teenager, I think she also wondered if people liked her, if she fit in, all of those things. So I think it's important we tell people how they are and what we think of them.
You can find stories about all 5 victims of last May's tragedy all together on our website. In Bruce County, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Still ahead, speaking out against separation. The Prime Minister weighs in after Alberta puts the possibility to a referendum. Plus, the fallout from a major fire in Grand Bend, a loss for the community and the local economy.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. A major cleanup in Grand Bend after a massive fire destroyed the local Rona store. As Brent Lail reports, it's a loss felt across the community.
It was really dark black smoke. It was almost like it was tar burning.
Neighbor Ron Crown describes the massive blaze at Rona in Grand Bend.
My wife called and said we had to evacuate the area because of the toxic smoke from the fire.
Crown was one of several residents who were displaced for nearly 24 hours after fire ripped through the hardware store. Mayor Doug Cook was among them. He has a condo just steps from the Rona.
They're a staple in Grand Bend, so without them, it's going to be a big loss. People really relied on that store for everything they needed for the hardware business, so it's devastating.
At the fire's peak Friday afternoon, 6 stations responded. 4 from Lambton Shores, 1 from Exeter, another from Dashwood.
Upon arrival, firefighters found that the fire was located in the roof of the structure. The makeup or construction of the building hindered firefighters being able to get to the fire.
Saturday, the fire was completely out, but now the municipality is dealing with the runoff from the fire operations.
They have chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, paints, thinners, all that stuff. And the amount of water we flowed into that building and the way it runs off, we're more concerned now with the environmental impacts to the community.
Following the fire, many locals were stopping by to look at the aftermath.
A lot of memories in the building, and the building's gone now, and yeah, it's a sad day.
Cam Haast's family used to own the store in the 60s.
I swept the floor there a lot and sorted pop bottles and cut meat and packed groceries and did all that.
The neighboring residents have now been able to return to their homes, and they have the firefighters to thank. Now it's about the community coming together to support those impacted.
We feel sorry for the people that work there, you know, and that's the unfortunate thing because we know them all.
Brent Lail, CTV News.
A coroner's inquest got underway today looking into the sudden death of an inmate who is being transported in police custody. Nick Paparella has more on the proceedings from day one and a family looking for answers.
The 5-person jury at the coroner's inquest looking into the death of 29-year-old Drew Pearson heard that he was in police custody in late December of 2018 after being charged with arson in connection to a blaze at this St. Andrew Street boarding house. Arrested while staying at the men's mission, Pearson died from staphylococcal sepsis after being rushed to University Hospital. At the start of the proceedings, Pearson's sister Kelsey spoke on behalf of the family about how his once fulfilling life had spiraled out of control due to drugs, saying he could have had an amazing life. Unfortunately, around 20 years old, he developed a drug addiction, and then depression came along with that. She said the family tried their best to help, but until you're in that position, you don't realize how little help there is for people dealing with addiction and how vulnerable they really are. While in custody between London Police Headquarters, the cells at the London Courthouse, and the Elgin Middlesex Detention Centre, Pearson had complained about severe back pain. Before wrapping up, Kelsey said, "We realize this inquest is not to place blame. We blame our smart son for getting himself in that situation, and ourselves for thinking he was in a safe place with people who would care for him while he was under their watch." In the days before his arrest, Pearson was taken to University Hospital by his mother due to the same back issues. Dr. Christine McDonald, an emergency room physician, examined him and ran a number of tests. She testified he had no fever, blood work was normal, he looked well. I wasn't concerned about sepsis. I wouldn't have done anything differently. The inquest is expected to hear from a total of 10 witnesses and is slated to last 8 days. After that, the jury will make recommendations to prevent future similar incidents. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Strong words from Prime Minister Mark Carney over an upcoming Alberta referendum. He says the question posed by the province's premier is a dangerous bluff, reminiscent of the United Kingdom's Brexit vote. With the latest, here's Rachel Aiello.
That is a very dangerous bluff.
A stark 6-word warning from Prime Minister Mark Carney for Alberta Premier Danielle Smith.
In these separation issues, it is often advanced that vote for this and it's a free option. Vote for this and we will strengthen our hand in a future negotiation. That is a very dangerous bluff.
Unprompted today, the Prime Minister drew on his experience as the Governor of the Bank of England during the Brexit crisis. When asked what he thinks of the referendum question Smith is putting to Albertans this fall.
I saw firsthand what happened in the United Kingdom when the view was vote for this, it'll be soft, and then we'll negotiate, etc. And they ended up, and they're still 10 years later trying to undo what people didn't think they were voting for, but what they ended up having.
Carney's words of caution about understanding the risk of using this referendum as a bargaining chip was met with pushback from Premier Smith, who has called it an exercise in democracy.
I'm just trying to get a gauge of where Albertans are at. I think that that's respectful of the process that 700,000 people went through in signing their petitions.
That sentiment echoed by the separatist Bloc Québécois.
Still up to Albertans to decide, and definitely not to another government to decide on what if the question should have been asked in the first place.
Conservatives said Carney's comments do nothing to address Albertans' concerns.
He has no right to wag his finger. That makes it worse.
As her province contemplates whether to vote to remain or pursue a path towards independence, Smith also said today she'll keep working with Carney towards a stronger Alberta within a united Canada. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Final preparations are underway in Toronto ahead of the FIFA World Cup. A surge of international visitors is expected, something businesses are hoping to capitalize on. With more, here's Heather Wright.
Extra TVs are being hung up at Fox & John's, a restaurant and bar in Toronto's Liberty Village.
We're adding TVs basically anywhere we could fit them.
Bar manager Samantha Besteo says World Cup preparations began 6 months ago and include the hiring of additional staff and a new streamlined menu to help serve the packed crowd expected here throughout the tournament.
It's going to be such a fun time here just in the city as a whole, but it comes with a lot of nervousness and we kind of don't know fully what to expect. So we're kind of going into it super excited, positive spirits, kind of ready for anything though.
Liberty Village is used to hosting big crowds. The neighborhood is the unofficial gathering spot for fans of Toronto FC. But the crowds expected during the World Cup will likely eclipse anything this area has seen before. For the roughly 10,000 people who live here, the tournament brings excitement and some trepidation.
It's definitely going to be busy, but I think it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of good vibes.
With 45,000 fans expected to pack Toronto Stadium for each match, in addition to the fan festivals located nearby, the foot traffic through this part of town will be a big boost for businesses.
It's going to be interesting, I guess. There's going to be crowds of people. There's a lot of hype behind it.
Kevin McDougall owns Merci Mon Ami with his wife, a restaurant and catering business. It has survived the economic crisis of 2008 and the COVID pandemic. He says the economic climate right now is just as tough, and the World Cup will be a big help.
So the margins are tighter than they ever were. So something like this definitely will help increase volume, which increase, revenue. So your margins are still tighter, but you're getting more revenue.
So the World Cup kicks off in less than 3 weeks here in Toronto, with the city expecting more than 300,000 visitors over the course of the tournament. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And Rita Ismail's on the desk with me now, handling the forecast. And I would think coming in today, you're pretty excited about getting to tell people what's on our way, because it was a beautiful day today.
It was. You know, I was in on Friday, Carlyle, and I had to put those thunderstorms.
The weekend wasn't great.
It wasn't good. So today is a treat, and I am glad I'm able to deliver this forecast for you. Our high 25 degrees, feeling like summer this week, that's for sure. We had high pressure in play today, which meant lots of sunshine. We're sitting above normal, 21 degrees, and not quite the record, though. That was back in 1978, 28 degrees, but perhaps we could get there later this week. As we head into the night, our sunset tonight at 8:51. Get outdoors, go for a walk. It is a gorgeous evening in store. Not a cloud in sight for us here in southwestern Ontario, and that's because, again, we do have a nice large area of high pressure. There is that system that pushed out to the east and further stateside. We have another system that's going to move through, but because this area of high pressure appears to be so strong, it will stop the moisture from pulling into southwestern Ontario, which means more sunshine in store for tomorrow. And with that system, we'll see our temperatures start to bump up. It won't be until Wednesday when the next weather maker pushes through. But as you can see, it is fairly weak and moves through early Wednesday morning. By about 2 p.m., we'll be in the clear under a nice mix of sun and cloud. In terms of moisture, very little in this forecast. This evening, beautiful 23 degrees, calm overnight, clear conditions, 15 degrees. Again, open those windows, let that fresh air in. Blue skies to wake up to on Tuesday with a daytime high for tomorrow. Again, above seasonal at 28 degrees. We'll get there quickly too as the winds start to move in from the southwest, 20 kilometers per hour. It will help that temperature climb for tomorrow under all that sunshine. And remember, the sun is as strong in May as it is in August. So if you're spending time outdoors tomorrow, put on that sunscreen. The UV will be at 9 or higher. Wednesday, there is that slight chance for a passing shower. Right now sitting quite low in terms of our probability. Our high Wednesday, 25. And then once that weak system moves through, our temperatures will be right around seasonal. Heading into the weekend, a great weekend to be outdoors, 21 degrees, seasonal, cool with a northwesterly wind. A week from today, we officially welcome June at 21 degrees. Midwestern Ontario, similar conditions in store for you. Warm tomorrow, lots of sunshine in the forecast. Morning showers on Wednesday, clearing by the afternoon. Thursday and Friday, sunshine and 23 degrees. And the weekend, as of right now, looks absolutely perfect for this time of year. We're looking at a daytime high comfortable 20 degrees under mainly sunny skies.
Thanks very much, Rita. Coming up, a cautionary tale about a parking infraction, how an unpaid ticket from decades ago led to a license suspension.
Tomorrow, we're talking trash. What have you thrown out without telling your partner or spouse?
We're talking about that at 8:15, but text your answers in to 54321.
CTV London has your chance to win a 4-pack of season passes to East Park, London to keep cool and have fun all summer long. Enter now at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win.
Tim Hortons has announced plans to hire 10,000 local workers. Company officials say they're dialing back on their use of temporary foreign workers. They say they're planning to expand, adding 80 new storefronts across the country. According to a statement, they will also stop lobbying the federal government to expand the temporary foreign worker program amid high rates of youth unemployment. City officials in Toronto are going through old unpaid parking tickets, and these aren't just infractions from the past year or two. As Pat Foran reports, in some cases, they're going back decades.
I don't even remember what I was doing 30 years ago, let alone dealing with tickets.
Jeff Clendenning of the Georgetown area says last month he discovered his driver's license had been suspended. He first thought there may have been fraudulent activity, but he discovered it was due to a parking ticket from the 1990s.
And the ticket was from 1996. So it's a 30-year-old ticket. And surprisingly, it was on there, and it's for $32.75.
When he contacted Service Ontario, they had no record of the infraction. Finally, he tracked it down to a parking ticket in Toronto that had been partially paid. But due to the outstanding balance, his license was suspended. He feels he should have got a warning first.
You know, I was shocked that I didn't get in that first letter, hey, you've got this outstanding fee. You've got 15 days to resolve this issue. Otherwise, we're going to suspend your license.
He paid the parking ticket, but to get his license back, he also had to pay a driver's license reinstatement fee of $281. Something else he felt was unfair.
That could be someone's car payment. That could be someone's, that could be their food.
Ontario's Ministry of Transportation told CTV News unpaid fines do not expire. If a ticket remains unpaid, it can lead to plate denial or a driver's license suspension. To reinstate a suspended license, individuals must pay the outstanding fine and penalties as well as a reinstatement fee. Toronto is actively going after unpaid parking tickets, which could amount to tens of millions of dollars. Clendenning says they should use a different process than having driver's licenses suspended.
It certainly has an appearance of using a very, very powerful tool of removing someone's license to collect a very, very old and outstanding fee.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index ended higher today, led by the basic materials sector. The TSX gained 360 points, while American markets were closed for Memorial Day. The Canadian dollar added a modest 0.02 of a cent on commodity markets. Also, commodity markets were closed for the U.S. holiday. Still ahead, water safety in St. Thomas. The new equipment stations installed in the wake of a tragedy. Welcome back. City officials in St. Thomas are installing new life-saving stations nearly 2 years after a young man drowned in Lake Margaret. With more on that project, here's Brent Lale.
They lift up at the bottom. They're in a weather-safe container. So we have this ring buoy that allows people to throw, and then we have also the reaching pole that really allows to reach to people.
The Elgin County Drowning Prevention Coalition, in partnership with the City of St. Thomas, has installed these new life-saving stations around the city.
We called it the Ryan Davies Project. It was about February 2025 where we first put in that initial report, kind of saying there needs to be some change and action happening.
It was nearly 2 years ago when Davies drowned in Lake Margaret. He wasn't wearing a life jacket when his canoe tipped over on Labor Day.
There isn't a day that goes by that we don't have a little cry missing Ryan, but we're meeting some really great people and making change happen.
Davies' mom, Linda King, immediately started calling for change.
One of the main priorities right now is to get a life jacket loaner program at Main Beach in Port Stanley and also at Lake Margaret.
She convinced Central Elgin to create that program, and now St. Thomas is on board.
Hopefully with doing all this today with everybody here that there'll be more awareness that life jackets are important and they definitely save lives.
The city has actually installed 9 of these life-saving stations, 4 here at Lake Margaret, 1 in Lake Pinafore, and 4 more at Waterworks Park.
This is one of the actual few times where we went against administration's recommendation and as a council voted for moving forward with this project. We're taking a tragedy and trying to look for a solution.
We're really, really proud to be a part of a city that really values water safety and moving that forward. And so they also not only installed life-saving stations around the pond, they also implemented a bylaw that enforces mandatory wear of life jackets on any of the city parks waterways. So that was really exciting to kind of move that forward and really encourage safe boating, life jacket wear, and really just water safety in general.
Brent Mayo, CTV News.
Provincial Cabinet Minister Caroline Mulroney has announced her resignation. She's the daughter of former Prime Minister, the late Brian Mulroney. She was elected in 2018 as part of Doug Ford's first provincial government, serving in multiple cabinet positions, currently the Treasury Board President. In a letter, Mulroney says now is the right time to start a new chapter, officially resigning on June 5th.
And to all members of this House, thank you. We may disagree from time to time, but there is a shared sense of purpose in this place that Ontarians do not always get to see. I have learned from all of you, and I will miss all of you. Well, most of you.
Caroline is a champion for fiscal responsibility and for Francophone communities across the province. And I just want to thank her for her hard work and for carrying on her legacy of public service that her father, Brian, began.
The Ontario Liberals have officially rejected MP Nate Erskine-Smith's appeal following his narrow nomination loss in a Toronto area riding. Erskine-Smith had claimed there were voting irregularities after losing the nomination by 19 votes earlier this month. He flagged missing voter signatures, but in a 17-page decision, a three-person Liberal Party panel ruled the issues were simply record-keeping errors. Erskine-Smith had been positioning himself for a run at becoming the next Ontario Liberal Party leader, but he now says that bid is much less likely. That by-election must take place before August, but no official date has been announced. If you're covered under the Canadian Dental Care Plan, time is running out to renew your benefits. Members have until June 1st to prove they still qualify for the federal program, including filing their 2025 tax return and meeting income requirements. The plan is available to Canadians without private dental coverage whose adjusted family income is under $90,000. Anyone who misses the renewal deadline will lose coverage June 30th and must submit a new application to get back in. Federal government officials say there could be a gap in coverage during the reapproval process, and any dental costs during that time will not be reimbursed. A groundbreaking ceremony today at the site of the new Ontario Science Centre. Premier Doug Ford was among the dignitaries involved at the event. The start of construction marks a major milestone for the project, which was the subject of significant controversy after the provincial government decided to relocate the facility to the waterfront.
Buildings like this, ideas like this, destinations like this take bold vision. You know, as I look over to the CN Tower, somebody thought of that, building the world's tallest freestanding structure in the 60s, and it was a bold vision. In the 80s, somebody thought of building a domed retractable stadium right beside the CN Tower, and that was a bold vision. Today, we are seeing the groundbreaking of another truly bold vision.
The provincial government released this video of the design plans for the new Science Centre complex at Ontario Place, saying construction could be complete as soon as 2029.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Matthew Penny in St. Thomas. He took this photo at Inverhuron Provincial Park on a quiet evening near the water. Thanks so much for sharing. We have a pattern change in place as high pressure is expected to dominate the forecast this week. A nice sun cloud mix with warmer temperatures. The next chance for rain comes overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning as a passing shower moves through, but dayside will be dry. The temperatures return to seasonal end of week.
Korean Navy leaders have arrived on Canada's west coast, showcasing a new vessel. It's the start of a joint naval operation in the midst of a sales pitch for a multi-billion-dollar fleet of submarines. Adrian Gobriel reports.
Titled the patriotic song, the Republic of Korea's national anthem is played in harmony with O Canada. The nation's two navies coming together in Victoria, BC to remember the 516 Canadians killed in the Korean War and honor those who survived the historic battle that began 76 years ago.
Our first casualty was the 1st of January.
A recognition of the past as the two middle powers work to ignite tighter military bonds into the future.
Every time you have the opportunity to work at sea, we should.
The Korean Navy arrived at CFB Esquimalt this weekend, bringing its KSS-3 submarine. A bid is in place for Canada to purchase 12 of these South Korean subs. The only other finalist vying to deliver Canada's next-generation submarine is a joint German-Norwegian submission. Ottawa will announce the winning multi-billion-dollar contract this summer. While putting their best marketing pitch forward, the Korean Navy is also here working with Canada to conduct the two countries' first ever exclusive joint naval drills in a simulated wartime environment. Frigates, submarines, and the Air Force are all involved. The Republic of Korea's Admiral Chief of Naval Operations telling CTV News that cooperation in the open ocean means security and prosperity.
Improving our capability as a military.
CTV News spoke one-on-one with Maritime Forces Pacific Rear Admiral David Pachel about the importance of working with allies in a quickly changing geopolitical landscape.
The more we work together, learning how to communicate, how to operate, understanding the capabilities of each other's navies, so then we build that trust. So when we need to fight together, we're ready to do so.
Celebrating his 98th birthday, his experience fighting alongside Korean soldiers has stayed with retired Major Jerry Ratchford.
United Nations Service Medal for Korea.
You wear them proudly.
Yes, I do.
The Korean War veteran believes a rekindled relationship between the two proud nations will serve Canadians well for generations to come.
Today means unification between the two countries, and I hope it stays that way.
The current joint naval exercise underscores the importance for the Royal Canadian Navy to have deeper connectivity and cooperation with allied nation navies from these waters into the Indo-Pacific, the Arctic, and Atlantic Oceans. Adrian Gobrel, CTV News, CFB Esquimalt.
Police in the Toronto area say they've arrested 17 people suspected in a string of violent extortion incidents targeting South Asian businesses.
This investigation is far beyond Peel. It has ties to British Columbia, as we'll hear, as well as the United States and India. One accused in this investigation was linked to an attempted homicide in India.
Police say victims were threatened, their businesses shot at and set on fire. They also say this criminal network was likely responsible for roughly half the 620 rounds fired from illegal guns in the Peel region this year. According to police, more than 100 charges have been laid, and several of the suspects could face immigration action. President Donald Trump says any peace deal with Iran should include a requirement for several more countries to join the Abraham Accords. The U.S. brokered agreements are intended to normalize relations with Israel and were forged during the Trump first term. He says he wants Saudi Arabia and Qatar to sign on immediately, followed by Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and Jordan. Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates became the first countries to join the accords in 2020. An annual pilgrimage has begun in Saudi Arabia.
Allah.
Worshippers gather around the Grand Mosque before moving on to holy sites where rituals will be ongoing for several days. Local authorities say more than 1.6 million people have arrived from outside the country so far. For practicing Muslims who are physically and financially able, the pilgrimage is a required once-in-a-lifetime experience. A statement today from Pope Leo on the risks of artificial intelligence. He says AI is already touching many areas of our lives and is dramatically changing how war is waged.
Other very troubling voices have also reached me about increasingly autonomous weapons systems, practically beyond any human reach to govern them effectively.
The Pope urged world governments to slow down and closely regulate AI development, warning those systems spread misinformation while prioritizing conflict and risk. He also said Vatican officials want to work with AI developers to discuss the proper use of such technology.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A developing story now from City Hall where.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, researchers at Western University highlighting the benefits of physical activity. As Lauren Stallone reports, there can be a wide range of benefits regardless of age.
Barbara Clark is 101 years old.
I've always been active. That's the secret.
When she's not gardening or playing the piano, Clark is here, exercising.
I think everybody should take. exercises. I started a long time ago.
Clark says she played golf to keep fit in her earlier years. Her last game nearly a decade ago when she was 92.
It wasn't a very stellar game, believe me.
Now she's traded in her golf clubs for dumbbells and trains with other dedicated seniors twice a week at Chartwell Dorchester Terrace.
It gives them the ability to be more independent and to move and to have less assistance. They really notice a big difference here. They've all increased their weights.
The classes include a warm-up, strength training, balance exercises, and stretching.
It involves everything. I don't miss a muscle group.
Experts say strength training can improve balance, independence, and brain health for older patients.
Weightlifting can improve cognition, including executive function, which refers to our ability to think, plan, make decisions, our memory, and our attention. And this is true in healthy, preclinical and clinical older adult populations. And so sort of keeping sharp as we age is really important.
And for anyone who says they are too busy to exercise.
What do I say to them? Oh, I wouldn't like to tell you.
So Clark left me no option but to join in. And it turns out keeping up with a 101-year-old is harder than it looks.
It keeps me young.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.